It was a typical morning in Springfield. The sun was shining, birds were chirping, and the Simpson family was going about their usual routines. Homer was snoring loudly in bed. Marge was in the kitchen preparing breakfast. Lisa was practicing her saxophone, and Bart was plotting his next prank. Suddenly, without warning, the world began to shift. It started with a low rumble, like an earthquake, but then everything seemed to tilt and fold. The walls of the house bent at impossible angles. The floor became the ceiling, and the furniture slid into chaotic positions. Homer jolted awake, his eyes wide with confusion. "What's going on?" he yelled, trying to get out of bed but finding himself stuck to the mattress, which was now vertical. Marge, ever the homemaker, attempted to steady the frying pan on the stove, but the eggs and bacon were sliding off into the air. "Oh my," she muttered. "This is going to make cooking quite a challenge." Lisa, who had been floating in the hallway, grabbed onto a doorframe. "This defies all laws of physics," she exclaimed, her mind racing to find a logical explanation. Bart, on the other hand, saw this as an opportunity for adventure. "Cool. It's like the whole town turned into a funhouse." He skateboarded down the now sloping hallway, laughing maniacally as the family tried to make sense of their new reality. They looked out the window and saw that the entire town of Springfield had been folded like a giant sheet of paper. Streets twisted into the sky, houses were turned sideways, and people were trapped in bizarre positions, their bodies contorted to fit the new geometry. Ned Flanders was stuck with his head through the roof of his house, waving helplessly. "Hi diddly ho! Neighborinos, a little help here?" Chief Wiggum was trying to direct traffic, but the cars were driving on walls and ceilings. "All right, folks, let's keep it orderly ... somehow." Meanwhile, at the Springfield nuclear power plant, Mr. Burns cackled with glee. "Excellent. This chaos will surely increase productivity ... or something." Back at the Simpson house, Marge was determined to maintain some semblance of normalcy. "All right, family, let's sit down for breakfast," she said, setting the table, which was now on the ceiling. "But Mom, how are we supposed to eat like this?" Lisa asked, floating upside down. "We'll manage, dear. We always do," Marge replied with a strained smile. Homer, still stuck to the bed, grumbled, "I just want my coffee." Bart, however, was already out the door, eager to explore this new, twisted Springfield. "See you later, suckers," he called, skating down the folded street. As Bart ventured further into town, he noticed that the foldings seemed to converge towards the center of Springfield. The closer he got, the more distorted and grotesque the surroundings became. Buildings were crumpled like accordions, and the people were changing. He saw Mo, whose body had been stretched thin across a folded alleyway, his limbs elongated and twisted. "Hey, Bart," Mo wheezed. "Want to buy a drink? It's on the house, ... literally." Bart shuddered but pressed on. He passed by the school, where Principal Skinner was trying to conduct a class, but the students were stuck to the walls and ceiling, their bodies merged with the chalkboards and desks. "This is getting weird," Bart muttered to himself, "even for Springfield." Finally, he reached what seemed to be the epicenter of the folding, near the town square. There, in the midst of the chaos, was a massive crease in reality, like the spine of a book. From within it, Bart could hear faint whispers and cries, human voices, but distorted and echoing. Curiosity getting the better of him, Bart approached the central fold. As he got closer, the voices grew louder, and he could make out words. "Help us ... trapped ... folding ... forever ... Suddenly, the fold began to open, revealing a glimpse into another dimension. Bart's eyes widened in horror as he saw what was. Inside, a writhing mass of flesh and limbs, stitched together with threads of light, and at the center, a gaping maw filled with teeth from which the voices emanated. But the most terrifying part was that the voices were familiar. He recognized them as the voices of the people of Springfield, somehow being used to bind this monstrous entity to their world. Bart, ... the voices pleaded. Bart stumbled back, his heart pounding. What is this? What's happening? From the depths of the fold, a tendril of darkness shot out, wrapping around Bart's ankle. He screamed and tried to pull away, but it was too strong. Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Homer, who had finally managed to free himself from the bed. "Let go of my son, you, whatever you are," he shouted, grabbing a nearby lamppost that was bent into a spear-like shape. With a mighty swing, Homer struck the tendril, causing it to release Bart. The two of them ran back towards their home, the voices fading behind them. Back at the house, the family regrouped. Lisa had been studying the phenomenon and had a theory. "I think the folding is caused by a rift in space-time, possibly due to some experiment gone wrong at the power plant, or maybe even an alien intervention. But how do we fix it?" Marge asked, wringing her hands. "I don't know," Lisa admitted, "but we need to find a way to unfold the town before it's too late." Bart, still shaken, told them about what he saw at the central fold. "There's something there, something using our voices to stitch itself into our world." Homer scratched his head. "So, if we can stop it from using the voices, maybe the folding will stop?" "It's worth a try," Lisa said. "But how?" Suddenly, Marge had an idea. "What if we all sing together? Maybe our voices can counteract whatever is happening." It was a long shot, but they had nothing to lose. The family gathered in the living room, which was now a jumble of furniture and walls, and began to sing a song that Marge had taught them when they were young. As their voices harmonized, a strange thing happened. The house started to straighten out, the walls returning to their proper angles. Encouraged, they sang louder, and soon the entire town began to unfold, the streets flattening, the buildings righting themselves. At the central fold, the monstrous entity writhed in agony as the voices it had stolen were reclaimed by their owners. With a final, ear-piercing shriek, it dissolved into nothingness, and the fold sealed shut. Springfield was back to normal, or at least as normal as it ever was. The townspeople emerged from their homes, blinking in confusion, as if waking from a strange dream. The Simpson family hugged each other, relieved that the nightmare was over. "Well, that was something," Homer said, wiping his brow. "Let's hope it never happens again," Marge added. But as they walked back to their house, Bart noticed something odd. In the corner of his eye, he saw a small crease in the sidewalk, almost imperceptible, but there nonetheless. He bent down to examine it and heard a faint whisper, "Will be." Back ... double quotes. Bart quickly stood up, a chill running down his spine. He decided not to tell the others, not wanting to worry them. But he knew that whatever had caused the folding was not entirely gone. And so, life in Springfield continued, but with a shadow of unease lurking beneath the surface. A reminder that the fabric of reality was thinner than they thought,